The title is amazing. Was that always the title? Can we start there?
It was always the title. Some people wanted me to change it. There were some investors who were interested in possibly coming on board, and it came down to the title. They were like, "Why is that the title?" And I'm just like, "It's the title. It makes sense for the movie. If you watch the film, it's kind of a double entendre because his name is Richard, so it's control of Richard, but also it's control of his dick."
I'm curious, as far as like idea first expressions, where does this come from? Where was the start of this?
When I was in college, I interned with Def Jam. I was a college rep at NC State. And so when I was there, I was always around the artists. So when they were going to do autograph signings, I would help set them up. I would be there. And then sometimes like the rappers would have an entourage, and their entourage would say the craziest things. And I was like my character in the story, Alicia. I was like Alicia. I'm like the little assistant girl. And they're just like asking me questions like, "Oh, you with the girls?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm not with the strippers. I'm with the record company." So the things that I heard kind of inspired this whole thing. And then also like last year, the year before last, when the stuff was happening with Meg Thee Stallion and Tory, I was just looking at the disrespect that she was getting. Like, how do you get shot and you get blamed for it? And so I was like, what if Drake or one of these rappers like messes with the wrong woman and she's a witch? And so that's where it came from. Was
there, like, as far as like the touch of the musical note to the like building that side of it, was it fun to kind of dive back into what do you want the sound to be of your film? Is there any reflections back? Well,
that was a whole process within itself. Like, we actually looked online on Instagram. We posted an ad for rappers around America, and so we unsigned rappers. So we had like submissions of probably over 200 rappers around America that sent their music, and then I had my music supervisor Danny look through all the music and kind of give me like maybe the top 20. And so that's how we found the music, was just rappers that were online that found my post, and they're still sending them. It's almost 2 years later and they're still sending them to the email like, "Hey," I'm like, "The movie's done."
I love that. How many days shoot was this? How long was this process?
This is a one-day shoot.
No way.
Yes.
What was that experience like? That's insane.
It was in the middle of a COVID surge. So it was like we were going to shoot for 2 days. I wanted to do a strip club scene. We ended up buying footage because it was just like, it was the whole thing with the guild, the SAG, and just like you had to have a COVID compliance officer on set, and it was just, they were expensive. And then it was just like the whole process of not wanting anyone to get sick. And so we all had to test like within a couple days, and we had to all come back negative. So it was a crew of like, casting crew of like 31 people. So if any one person came in positive, we were going to be SOL. So like, I think one person like had a false positive type of thing, so it was a scare. And this was a pivotal person in the film, but we all ended up coming back negative, and we were able to make it in 1 day. So I don't want to chance it and try to add another day. It was just like, one day we're going to get this done, and this is how we're going to roll with this.
Smooth. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Great footage from that. A day. I can't believe that. As far as expansion, is there any ideas of any other further ideas or going in a similar direction?
Yeah, like for me, this movie is my weird science set in hip hop. I want to do it as a feature film where it's kind of showing the witch against the rapper, and just kind of show him kind of like going around the world on a world tour, and he's in Beijing trying to figure out what he can eat from some monk or whatever to help fix his dick situation. And so I want to do it as a feature film. That's kind of the next step. Like, this is Film Festival number 19, so we're pretty much at the end of our run. And so that's what's next is Curtis Hamilton, who stars in the film as Trigger. He wants to do it as a feature as well. So we're going to move forward probably after the strike and stuff is over with to try to make it into a feature film.
So he's going to make it with you as well?
Yeah, he produced this as well.
Beautiful.
But he wants to make it with me. He wants to star. I mean, he played Dr. Dre before. That's why I saw him Dr. Dre on Lifetime, and I was just like, he was so good and charming in that. So I knew as an asshole in this story, he would be a cute asshole, so the women would still like, oh, he's cute, even though he's bad. But he learns his lesson, kind of. But in the film, the feature film, he's going to go further. I want it to be more outlandish, and just crazy stuff is happening.
Can you talk about the festival circuit? 19 places. What is that like, especially different audiences' reactions?
Yeah. It's been interesting. Like, one thing that all the audiences have is that afterwards they come up to me and it's like there was an experience. It's so I tell my cast and crew, like, you guys have to come so you can see how people react to this movie. So afterwards they like surround me or my cast and crew and just like ask questions, and they're just like so moved by it, because going in you kind of think it's like this little romp, but literally underneath the surface there's a deeper message that's happening there. So that's been an experience at every festival, no matter what crowd it is. It's like they have a lot of questions. They think it's amazing. They laughed. They got a lesson. It was deeper than just what they thought. Like, that's kind of the theme of it too, is that don't judge a book by its cover. And in the movie, he's kind of reading a book or whatever to kind of learn his lesson. But yeah, they all kind of see the underlying the theme that's going on as far as respecting women. They love the fact that I mix comedy in with that to kind of make it palatable. And then, yeah, they've had a great time. I just came from Cleveland like 2 weeks ago, and that was a really good audience. That was a Black audience. So every audience is like, we've been in a wealth of film festivals at this point. So every audience is different, but they all come back at the end like, wow, like that made me think. That made me laugh. Like, they had feelings. So I did my job, thankfully.
As far as other projects, are you working on anything else, anything you can share?
Well, I am a trained screenwriter. I'm not Writers Guild yet, and that was like before the strike happened. I was like in the process of trying to sell a couple of things, so that kind of threw a monkey wrench. But now that the strike is kind of resolved, we're voting this week. We'll be back hopefully with the same meetings that I had before. I had just written an action spy comedy before the strike happened. That's called Operation Mia. It's based on a comic book that I wrote. So it's like a mother-daughter type of action story, like James Bond type of story. And then I have a Christmas movie that I was working with a producer to take into Hallmark, and so that's something else that I have. And then there's another project that's at a production company. I talked to them like a couple weeks ago about comic book stuff, but they were interested in talking about my script too. So they're interested in one of my comedies called Fix It Jesus, which is like a FBI agent that goes undercover in a mega church in Atlanta. So it's kind of like Miss Congeniality. So those are a couple projects that I have. And then I have all my books. And like on Saturday, I'll be here, Wizards Asylum ICT. Yeah. I'll be doing a manga signing for my new Younger Master Choi manga.
Can you ask about that circuit and that community of people that follow? I mean, it's unique people that really dive into the stuff they love.
As far as like
going to conventions, meeting fans, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you've had some credible stories.
Yeah, I've actually traveled internationally with conventions. So we went overseas and we shot a docuseries called The Shiro Universe. That's something else that's going to be finished. We're going to be finishing up now that the strike is done, where I went to comic conventions in Korea, I went to Indonesia, I went to New York Comic Con, which was absolutely bananas. And then when I came back, I started my own Comic Con called ShiroCon for 2 years until the pandemic threw a monkey wrench in everything. But this year, I'm actually Los Angeles Comic Con asked me to come in and curate a section of their comic convention with my comic convention, because I'm way smaller than that. Mine is only a day. It's for Women's History Month, but I'm like going to go in and do like it's all female Comic Con, so it's an all female artist alley is what I do. So I'm bringing in like women that were in Black Panther, women that do voiceovers or whatever. So they have autograph signings. We'll be selling their products, and we're gonna have a pink carpet, so it's gonna be really fun. And a step and retweet is what my brand ShiroCon has, and so I'm working in the Comic Con circuit now with myself. So I've been to all these Comic Cons. I kind of fell into starting my own comic convention, and then I'm now being asked to come into other comic conventions and help and advise with bringing the female crowd in. So it's interesting. It's crazy. Like I said, New York, day 2, I lost my voice because it was like so many people that were there and I'm talking. It's crazy to see like some of these people have been fans since they were kids. And like, I think one day I was at a comic convention and Marv Wolfman was beside me. He created Teen Titans and Blade. And the guys were standing in line to get autographs from him. And some of those guys were like in tears when they were getting their book signed by him. They had known who he was since they were kids. So it's an emotional experience to kind of, people look at it as pop culture or whatever, but it's way deeper than that, because it's like, these are the characters they grew up loving, and now they're here to kind of see the creators behind it. So it's an amazing experience every time I go to comic conventions to be able to meet people. And this weekend, even with my book signing, it's like I'm hoping a lot of people in Wichita come out and bring their kids so they can see this book that I just finished.
I love it. What's your favorite medium? Do you have a favorite medium?
Well, I've been studying screenwriting for 20 years, so that's probably my favorite. I love movies. It's hard as hell. It's hard to write screenplays, especially like the type that I write. I write 4 quadrants. So like before the strike, I pitched on movies like to write Pictionary for Mattel. I pitched to write a Lego movie. So those are the types of scripts that I write, which are the 4 quadrant, really hard ones. And so it's just you in the dark with your choices to try to get through that second act and to describe it to the studios that you're pitching it to. So it's never easy, but I feel like Guns N' Roses, it's like the rock stars. Only rock stars can write a movie by themselves. Like television is a little bit different because you have a group of people and you kind of come up with ideas together, but with films, you're just by yourself trying to pull things from the air that make sense in a movie format.
Well, we've enjoyed what you've pulled, so thank you. Shequeta, thank you for bringing the film here. I can't wait for people to see tonight's group. It's great.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We're sold out, so I'm wanting to see it in front of a full crowd in the theater. I don't even think I'm going to watch the whole block because I'm not sure if there's room for me because I didn't get a ticket. So I just want to go in to see how they react to my movie. I usually count the laughs to see what they get and what they don't get. So I'm very excited to see this crowd, especially a film crowd. Like, this is really a big film festival. It's probably the biggest one that we've been at so far. So I'm really excited to kind of see that and see their reactions online to the virtual festival too.
Awesome. Well, thank you for bringing it here. Thank you.
Thank you.